Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to Top Rope Commentaries Podcast. This is the Survivor Series War Games review. I think we mentioned something while recording Universe to save it for the pod, but I already forgot what it was.
It was the Iron Survivor we were talking about. That and like the Dark. Did we bring up the Dark Horse for the Royal?
We talked about that, and we talked about the Iron Survivor both in Universe. It was something else, but oh well. We'll talk about it in the next. Actually, we won't talk about it in the next pod because it's Orange Cassidy next week.
Yeah.
However,
Orange Cassidy will be here.
I will hand off this championship to the winner of War Games predictions. There you go. The Vegemite has not came in, so we can't do the punishment.
Yeah, the challenge is incoming, yes. But in being your champ once more, dude, I can say
belt is reflecting.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to like, well, how we're gonna have to keep it. But the only event that is in December is NXT Deadline.
Yeah, I don't think we'll do a predictions for December.
Okay, so
just because I don't know if there's enough.
But we are going to be taking ideas for punishments for Royal Rumble. That's going to be like the first big four that we do for the second big four that we do for the title. Survivor Series was our first one.
Yeah, I totally forgot Survivor Series was considered a big four.
The Royal Rumble with both Rumbles possibly being 40 people maybe like this year, because
that'd be
this War Games like card only had 5 matches.
Yeah.
It only had 5. So for Royal Rumble, I'm thinking we're either getting the same amount or we might only get 6. Because they're giving those Rumble matches like an hour.
Mid-card belts have not been defended on the main pay-per-views lately, except like it was this time.
Mm-hmm. The US. And I think the IC might get the Rumble.
I could see
I
that.
think they might alternate.
But let's start off the review. Show starts with the women's War Games match.
Ooh, so we had Team Bianca, which was Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim, aka Michin, a returning Becky Lynch, and then the team captain Bianca herself against Team Damage Control / Bailey, which is Bailey with alongside Damage Control, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, Nikki Cross, and as well as Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, absolutely great match. The match started off with Bianca and Dakota Kai,
which they definitely kind of tagged Dakota Kai now as Miss War Games with the fact that she's been in, I think, if not all of them.
I don't know about all, but at least 3.
She's been in the most.
Yes. I think Io has 2 though.
Yeah, so is
they've been in the same amount.
I want to say Io's been in 2. Because I think it was one War Games that Io actually had like a singles match or something like that. She wasn't.
I could have sworn Io was in the. Wasn't she in the one with Cora Jade in them?
That was the one she jumped off in the trash can.
I thought the one she jumped off the trash can was the one with that had Tegan and Dakota. I'm about to pull up former War
That was
Games.
Team Rhea, and I think that was something. I think that was different because Rhea was like one of the. I think it was Rhea and like 3 other people. Or was Team Rhea the one with Cora?
Cora was not in Team Rhea. Cora was in the last one, the last NXT one.
I was gonna say I had a video there.
Yes, Team Ripley versus Team Baszler. And then so I think there's been 3 total women's War Game matches. I'm trying to like find here. You know what? Let's focus on
because Bianca was a part of because they also made reference in Bianca starting out because she was
in one.
Yeah, she was in War Games.
So let's discuss real quick. They mentioned Tegan Nox. A note I made: Tegan Nox was mentioned, which made me think that she's coming back soon, and she did come back.
Yes,
last night
back against Damage Control to save Liv Morgan.
Which makes me wonder if we're getting. Okay. Oh wait. So yeah, Io was in the one with. I was right.
So
Io's been in 3.
That was one with Candace.
Yeah. Oh, Io's been in 4. That means Dakota's probably been in 4 too. Because there was the last one that had Cora, which was. That's not.
No.
Because I was like, there's no way Jessamine Duke was in.
No.
No, that does sound right.
Yeah, no. I was like, now I gotta look. I'm
War
just
Games
gonna
is
look.
weird.
I'm just gonna look up NXT War Games, like the pay-per-views.
Yes. So Tegan did come back. Dakota has some of the coolest. She has some of the best kicks in WWE. I think. Leader of Team Kick and whatnot, but man, her kicks are incredible. They are some of the. They look smooth. They look impactful. Her scorpion kick is awesome. I'm just a big Dakota Kai fan. I'm not gonna lie.
The
Io
captain of Team
Shirai
Kick was doing good
work. So I said Io entered next, and then proceeded to botch I call it the Jeff Hardy drop kick. The one where like she goes up in the air and then hits the drop kick while they're seated in the corner.
Oh, okay.
She botched that twice in a
the
row.
windmill drop kick.
Yeah, that was a botchamania moment. And it's like she just jumped too high, I guess.
Caught a little too much momentum.
Which not very common for Io to botch. She's a very good wrestler. She's very great in ring. Next, Asuka entered. We got a nice little exchange with Dakota Kai, immediately followed by a great back and forth with Io. I want them in a one-on-one match. We were talking about Evolution 2. Well, I think we run through a quick Evolution 2 like 5-6 card match at the end of this episode because I think it'd be a good
little precursor.
Yes. Let's see. Then
Dakota's
entered.
been in the past 3.
She's been in the past 3.
Well, including this year's.
Yeah. So let's see. I think she's been in all of them.
So
was she not in the one with Raquel and Corey Jade in them?
So she wasn't in that one because that one had the less amount of people in it because that was the one just against Toxic Attraction.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, because
then Nikki Cross entered next, and with her came weapons. She brought in kendo sticks, trash can lids, and I couldn't tell what it was at the time, but it was handcuffs. She brought in handcuffs, which I liked that. I liked those coming back into play, and I liked the way they came back into play.
That's now how I'm remembering
it. You're looking at the War Games matches?
Yeah, because so the one in like the first one back in like 2019.
Yes.
That was the one that had Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai in it, but neither of them were in the match because that was when.
Yeah, because Dakota was a sneaky bitch.
Yeah, but they both were announced the winners in the end because they both were on Team Rhea.
Yes, which is fucking hilarious. Yeah, so she's technically been in all of the matches.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good time.
She's technically been a participant.
Yes. Let's see what I put. Alexa Bliss entered after Nikki Cross. She looked great on her entrance. Like, she comes in and great fire. She's surprisingly smooth, I feel like. I'm not used to seeing Bliss be that smooth in the ring. Like, she's solid, but she's never been like a fucking S-tier worker.
Because I feel like this is a match where she, like, first one on main roster, I feel like a lot of them go into this match with, like, a lot to prove. Like,
yeah.
Like kind of, like, setting the bar and setting the standards.
Yeah, she was very smooth, though. Very smooth in the ring. Cross climb to the top. Was just kind of chilling for a minute before she hit the crossbody.
She kind of played in this match just kind of like very much just kind of like chaotic, like overseer. Like she would get kind of involved, but there would just be moments in the match where she would just climbs like the top of the rope, climbs like the top of the ladder, or just kind of like stare at people just doing like these like insane like spots.
Yes. Bayley's turn into the match. She brought with her a table and a couple ladders. They did a table bridge between the two rings, and they used it to pin Bianca against the cage. I was like, that's unique. I like that.
A lot of like the in-between work through both matches were really good.
Oh,
like, dude. Once
when we get to that men's,
oh
my god, that was fucking great. Mia Yim entered. She brought with a trash can, hit a suicide dive from one ring to the next.
which was dope because
God.
I was so scared for her to get her leg caught like on like
Okay, as long as she was okay, that would have been so funny.
and just like the leg drop. The Tower of Doom spot that they do.
They
that
teased it and then they didn't actually do it.
I love how I think it was Nikki just comes out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
she
just,
broke it up. She's like,
just
no.
with a kendo stick, just whacks Bianca right in the midsection.
That made me so happy. 'Cause I hate Tower of Doom spots.
But
I
then
think
I
they're
lo-
so cringy.
I love how they just kind of like peeled off too. Then like there was like another like slam here, and then the slam like they all kind of started to fall off like in succession.
Oh, whenever all of them did the superplex.
Oh no, not I'm not talking.
That's
about,
later in the match.
Yeah, that's later in the match. During like the Tower Doom, like after
Oh,
Bianca
yes.
fall, then it's like one German off, one like suplex off. After,
Yeah.
I think it was Io was left and she dove off.
Yeah, she climbed to the top. I think I put it might have been here. No, it's not here yet. So that was a little later in the match too. Because next Rhea Ripley enters and lays out everybody on the face team.
Yeah, it goes
She, like caught Bliss mid-air.
like it was nothing.
Yeah. Which to be fair, Alexa Bliss, smallest competitor in that match.
Yeah, I was
It
gonna
probably-
say tie with Io. Yeah, maybe.
It probably was like nothing for Rhea. Ripley looks more like a star than anybody in this match until Becky Lynch entered and did a showdown with the entire team.
Yeah, the man.
She just hit him with the come on, like come at me. Oh, what was it? She kept yelling at Bailey like, "Come on, you little bitch!" It's like, and Bailey's like, "Oh, I'm a little bitch."
like in coming back, Bailey and Becky, their mic works like from looking at them in NXT to like now.
Oh, it's night and day.
It really isn't like the comfortableness that
And we're finally getting a Bailey Becky feud. It seems.
Which do you think she's going to be the one to join Liv and?
That'd
Because
be
she's on
interesting.
SmackDown now. So Bailey's on SmackDown now. They just showed back up on SmackDown.
Yeah, Becky's on SmackDown.
Well, yeah, that's why she made the re-debut on SmackDown.
Okay. I didn't know she was on SmackDown. I thought she was on Raw because she was on Raw, wasn't she? No. Whenever she pointed at a fan, she was in the crowd. Was
Yeah.
that on Raw or was that on SmackDown?
That was on Raw.
Okay. I think she's on SmackDown because she's facing Ronda at Mania.
I wouldn't be surprised. And like you said, your dark horse, like if Seth pulls out that Royal Rumble win and him challenging Roman, you could see a lot more of him on SmackDown.
I want to see more Seth Rollins. That's why I watch Raw. I don't watch SmackDown mainly because I work most Fridays. It seems. And the people that I work with would throw a fucking tantrum if I had wrestling on in the base for some reason. That being said, 100% going to be watching wrestling tomorrow. Just to test the waters.
Just to test the floor.
Because I missed every single wrestling show this week.
See, I was able
So
to catch.
I'm catching up on the weeklies this week. But it's all around was a great show.
Oh, yeah, it
I'm
was
sorry, we
definitely
need to.
we talked about a definitely solid way. And Rhea, Becky and Asuka playing back to their feud, and Becky pulling Asuka out of the way. No, Asuka pulled Becky out of the way, or Becky pulled. I think.
Becky pulled Asuka.
Yeah, Becky pulled Asuka out of the way, only for Rhea to miss, turn around, and just catch a face full of mist by Asuka,
Yes.
and then to catch a Beck in through the table. And
So, one of the things I put, I don't know if this is a spot you noticed. Io was like draped over the middle rope, and Becky just fucking puts the trash can on her. And does the leg drop on it. I loved that. Anyone watching or listening to this is like, God, these guys are rambling. It was a great match. There's so many.
It's
good
worth
spots.
watching. If you have the $5, go to Peacock. And,
Oh, 100%. $10 if you don't want ads.
Yeah.
Trash can leg drop was pretty good, but Becky was over, dude. Speaking
Well,
of
I mean,
over, Ripley.
Distance
Rhea
make the
brought
hearts go
back
fonder. Anchor.
no, she brought back the
Oh,
the pull ups in the cage that she did at Elimination
I like how
Chamber.
Nikki got on top of the cage when she came out like at first. Like she just came, and Rhea just sitting up there just looking like don't sit on my fingers. Like I'm gonna do these pull-ups. Just don't.
Let's see. So yeah, I put Ripley and Becky standoff got a huge pop, and then Ripley proceeded to beat Becky's ass.
Which I feel like that's what we're gonna get post Rumble.
You know what I think we're gonna get them in a 1-on-1, and you know what? I see Becky putting Rhea over.
Because I've said this, I think they're going to be the last two in the Rumble. I think
Becky feels like the least selfish top person of all time.
if Rhea doesn't win the Royal Rumble, she should win Money in the Bank.
I agree, but Rhea should be the one to dethrone Bianca.
I feel like it might not. I feel like it'll happen in between because I feel like there's still
the Charlotte chance.
There's still the Charlotte.
You never want to bet against Charlotte Flair, purely because of how she's been booked. However, it seems like she seems to like Rhea Ripley. She's put her over before.
I wouldn't be surprised though if Bayley won the Royal Rumble though. I was like a dark horse.
And
if they're honestly gonna do like Bianca beating every horsewoman at Mania.
Yeah. Well, she's beaten 2, so
she's beaten 2. So now
she's got a long career ahead of her, so they can wait a year.
I mean, but you give Bayley that Royal Rumble win also.
Yeah, Bayley should be a Rumble winner, if not this year, next year. So the next thing I have, they teased the Tower of Doom spot, and it makes me very happy they didn't go through with it because it's so overused in multi-man matches.
I mean, it is, but it's a war game, so like
it's
10
always
people.
It's always a good pop. EO then did a moonsault from the top of the cage.
EO.
Cross pulls out the handcuffs, tries to handcuff Bliss to the cage, and instead Bliss just handcuffs them together.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love this. Somebody made a point. I didn't mark it down, but when Bliss was trying to fight her off, she punched her like right in the asshole. And it was so funny.
Also, the cuff was super big. Like I feel like
it
Bliss
was comically large. Bliss could have just slipped.
She could have slipped her hand out. Yes. I feel like he was holding on to like the handcuff to just make it basically make sure like the handcuff was like on tight.
Yeah. Let's see. Ripley and Yim went through the ladder, which I think is what kind of knocked her, or not knocked her, but it took Rhea out of the finish.
Out of the match, yeah. Which also plays into the Judgment Day versus OC kind of what they've been doing. The reason both of them were even in this match.
Yes. What else we got here?
Because it was a series of kind of table spots that led to the end of it, where another reference is made to now Becky and Bianca.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Becky climbed to the top of the cage with Sky on the table. Bayley tried climbing up after her, got hit with the KOD into the cage, which I actually liked. I thought that was a very unique. I thought it was very unique. Becky hit a leg drop through the table from the cage and fucking murdered Dakota Kai.
It was both Dakota and Io. They were both.
Oh, I know, but Dakota wasn't on the table. Dakota was like coming to stop her and got hit as well. And she had to tweet because a lot of people thought she got injured because of the way it landed. Mm-hmm. Like she landed like right on her fucking neck. And she tweeted out after, she's like, "I'm alive." But then Team Bel Air wins War Games.
I think this is the team. It seems like in War Games you never want to have the advantage.
No. I mean, yeah. Holy shit.
I never want to have the advantage in a War
Game. The Undisputed Era like almost always had the advantage. Speaking of, you talk about War Games. That's the War Games team right there.
Oh, Undisputed, yeah, the UE.
Yes. But we then move on to Styles versus Balor. So Styles, Balor.
Mm-hmm.
Early going, Styles absolutely dominated. Balor plays the heel really fucking well.
Yeah, like throughout this match, Finn was just smack talking, and they both came out with the other members of Judgment Day too. Judgment Day and the OC. So,
yes. Yeah, my favorite part is as AJ's beating his ass, Finn's just like, "Come on, AJ, we're boys." Dom got involved and got beat up by Gallows and Anderson for it.
Yep, they got beat up through the crowd, basically now making it a one-on-one.
Yes. Styles looked like he was about to hit a burning hammer, and I think Balor fought out of it. I would have popped. I would have lost my mind. You know what? That'd be a great WrestleMania match for a title.
Balor versus Styles.
Like,
oh yeah.
Realistically, as much as I hate to say it, I don't see Styles holding a title in WWE ever again.
Oh, I do.
He's retiring at the end of this contract, though. I think he's only got like 2 years.
2 years left on his contract?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I hope he does. Here's the thing, though. It's very clear. Triple H sees the value in AJ Styles.
Yeah. If anything,
I say that. So did Vince. Vince fucking loved the guy.
Yeah, Vince. I mean, AJ's always rotated around like the main scene. I feel like if anything, he'll get that U.S. title back and go back to doing those like U.S. title open challenges, and
I'd
we'll
love
just
it.
get just nothing but a string of good matches.
Is he on Raw?
Yeah,
It's not okay. Yeah, I'd love that. Put him
like
put him in the ladder match at Mania.
I feel like we'll get Styles versus Cody.
Put him in the ladder match at Mania. Have him win. Have him walk out of Mania U.S. champ.
Or
Styles
Mr. Money in the Bank.
Also would be great.
Big Money Styles.
Speaking of Money in the Bank, he said Triple H said they are reevaluating that just to see because it's not like a feud ender, and he's got a very good point. Money in the Bank as a pay per view is not a bad idea.
Yeah,
it's not like Hell in a Cell.
They're talking about adding it back on Mania. It's like a night 1 or a night 2, and I was like, I
do the men's on night 1, the women's on night 2.
I mean, there's that either end.
Yep. Let's see what else did I put here. Balor attempted the Styles clash, and it turned into both of them hitting their Pele kick.
Oh, an exchange of Pele.
And it never clicked to me that the first 2 Bullet Club members both used Pele kicks, just a different version. It's a great like they're great. Let's see.
And this is actually what secured me the belt.
It is.
This is the
It is because the last 2 matches of the show, neither one of us got a point. We were both wrong. And what makes it worse is at least the triple threat. I was gonna say Theory. I changed it to Rollins, but I was gonna say Theory.
Part of me wanted to, but I didn't feel confident in it. Like I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel confident in like Theory. In all honesty,
part of me wanted to say the Bloodline pulls out the win, and I didn't go with like
the
I didn't go with my heart.
The Bloodline, I was thinking more storyline. Like I was thinking more like it's getting to the Royal Rumble. They might be starting to like
get ready to like,
yeah.
Let's see. Balor attempted the coup de grace and missed. He had his leg worked for the large majority of the match. And then it led to Styles hitting the calf crusher. And the way Balor got out of it was the Lesnar reversal.
Yeah, just bashing his head.
Just fucking smashed it.
AJ was trying to crank it, lean too far back, and Balor just...
I loved it.
And it doesn't help that AJ has like that soccer mom hair, so it's just.
So real quick, women's war games I gave 4 stars, and I read because I thought it was a great match. Reading Reddit, people fucking hated that match.
I don't know. I feel like it was a pointless. I feel like people gave it a pointless hate fest.
I think it's the women. It seems to be the case for. Ultimately, phenomenal forearm Styles gets the win. That was a great match. It was
a solid match, and I kind of said that this was really going to be the cadence to what we got on Monday, which was that 8-man tag match between the two.
Yes. So, who did you, or how many stars do you give the first 2 matches here? I didn't.
So the women's war games, I'd give, given the storylines that were involved going forward toward the results after it, I give it a 3.5.
Okay, that's a good rating. It's a good rating.
Like I'd say like it was like all the women definitely came out and did great. There were a few like low spots in the match where just like some of like the chemistry was off, some like the movement was off, but there were people in the match that just like, understandably, Alexa and Oscar just big names, so having them in a big name match is also just going to be good. But sometimes it's just kind of people there without any. Like,
Bliss did great in the match. I'll say that.
Oh yeah,
she did really good, and she fit the story.
I mean, she fit the story in the fact of like in the sense like they just came out to like help her in the beginning, so they have just been with her in the beginning since she's been fighting Damage Control.
But it did in a way feel weird. It felt like this was just like they did this feud purely to lead to War Games. So,
bring back.
I was like, I saw the thing.
Yeah,
I was like, what just happened? How about Styles Balor?
Styles Balor. Outside going how it was gonna lead, I'd say I'd give this one another 3.5.
I get 4.5. I really like this match
because I enjoyed it. In ring definitely like was killer.
Yes,
but as far as like looking at it as like a whole, like in like moving on, I was just like, okay, cool. This was a great serviceable match to like get us to like our big like blow off.
Yes, yeah, I agree. Next we go on to Shotzi versus Rousey. Pretty dominant showing by Rousey for
Yeah,
most of
and
it, but Shotzi got quite a bit of
Shotzi
offense.
got a lot of offense in. I don't think these two just didn't have a lot of chemistry
I agree.
with each other, so there was just kind of a lot of like figuring each other out through kind of like through
yeah.
the match. I mean, Shayna try to help
Did her
moderate
part.
and like like get like the heat where she can, try to like fill in where
They
she can.
ended up in the crowd with her at one point, like
The dive
into
onto just the people.
fucking I think it was Graves. He go, did they pay extra for that? Like one of them literally, Rousey landed ass first on his face.
And it's just like so, and they're panning back and forth to the crowd, and like all these guys just have to be like stretched out, like they can't like move, like these.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god.
The match overall, though, I don't think it was as bad as everybody says it was. Like as far as a rating, I don't think I
gave it a great rating.
I gave it a 2.
I gave it 2.5. I was like, I thought it was an average match.
I thought it was. I don't think there just wasn't a lot of story going into it.
Yeah.
Like understandably,
Dude,
like the shots,
judo throw from the top rope by Rousey was sick.
it was smooth. It was almost like a Orton power slam.
Yeah. And then of course the Piper's Pit into the armbar is what led to the finish.
Now, in pushing this forward, I think the main antithesis of it is I don't know if Raquel's injury is
Legit or
legit. If it's kayfabe, I think we're gonna get Raquel Rousey before
at Rumble maybe.
Yeah, at Rumble, but definitely like before Mania, February maybe at the latest. But
I'd like
Shotzi
that.
did say that Raquel had a broken elbow, so
It's entirely possible. Yeah, it might be maybe a post Mania thing.
yeah.
Next we move on to Rollins versus Theory versus Lashley for the United States Championship. I actually love this match.
This match was really
speaking
fun.
of the United States Championship, I think we discussed season 2 of Universe Mode. Aren't we swapping mid card belts?
Oh yeah, we're
Yes.
swapping titles.
Yeah, you'll get the IT title of your choice. I'll get the US. Not swapping champs per se.
Not swapping champs. You swapping just the belts. A good old Charlotte Becky handoff.
Without the throwing it on the ground.
But this match was really fun. I like triple threat matches for the fact that it is odd man out. Like you always have that other person that's just a point in the match gets where you just like you forgot that person was there, and then all of a sudden they come like Rollins launching off of Theory to do a curb stomp to Bobby was
so good, dude. I popped. I put as my notes on this. I go, admittedly didn't take many notes on this match. It was a damn good match, and the reason I didn't take many is because I was really into it. That curb stomp was awesome. Theory had that the roll into the blockbuster. Incredible.
Now I think at Rumble you just need to go ahead and add Mustafa Ali to that make it a fatal 4-way.
That'd be great. That'd be really good. Well, you keep teasing us with Rollins versus Ali, and now it's not happening.
Because Theory's got to prove now that his win wasn't a fluke. Because the way they did the pin was great too. Rollins is going for his typical top rope
superplex into the Falcon Arrow. And Lashley prevented Rollins from doing the deal.
As soon as Rollins is getting him up, about to twist Theory
into the
Falcon Arrow,
speared.
So as Lashley is spearing Rollins, Theory is still twisting, so he just lands perfect enough to have an arm draped over Seth as he lands. Ref counts awesome. As soon as I watched that, I was just like, I realized neither of us got a point, so I was just like, great. But then I was just like, wow.
It was such a unique finish. Like it reminded me of an NXT finish.
It was such a unique finish that I didn't mind that it was the finish. Like
you know what it reminded me of? What almost happened when AJ was the US champ and he hit the Pele kick on Ty Dillinger and he falls into the pin on Baron Corbin. And it almost cost Styles the win.
I was gonna say because I don't remember that spot.
That was it was a random episode of SmackDown. It's a triple threat for the US title. That was great.
Because I think these guys just how the match flowed and how the chemistry kind of blended in with each other. It made it worthwhile. Like I agree. I didn't like watch this and just kind of feel like, oh, like what way is like Rollins going to be able to kind of like win. What was that like felt like Rollins was going to like win the entire time. Like they definitely like the close calls, like the near finishes, like he had both of them in the hurt lock.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was awesome. That was a great match. I gave it 3.5 stars.
I give it the same.
Okay, sweet. Next, we move on to the men's war games, and as you can see, I have quite a bit of notes for men's war games.
Because the men's war games was it told the
Beautiful story.
yeah, it was more storytelling. I think the women's at the beginning was a lot more physical, and they were just like it was just kind of more brawling.
Yes.
And not in like the sense of like a bad thing. I just think the women's was more physical than the men's was.
Yeah, it was more in-ring versus
Yeah.
in-ring storytelling. So Butch starts things off with the Brutes. They mentioned that he is the War Games veteran.
Yeah,
in
he
this
is the
match.
War Games vet.
Jay starts it for the Bloodline, which I liked.
Which kind of played into, because throughout the night they had promos of
Yes.
Jay talking to Roman, telling him like that Sammy talked to Kevin, and that Sammy had lied to Jay and said that he hadn't talked to
Yes.
anybody. But then Sammy comes and talks to Roman, and then Roman just kind of is like, "Hey, cut to
told
the
the
chase."
truth.
Like yeah, and Sammy told the truth. And now since Sammy told the truth, like the story throughout this match is Jay consistently keeping his eyes on Sammy, waiting on Sammy to do the slightest thing.
Would not let and Sammy's consistent. We'll get to that. We'll get to this. One of the points that I really like.
So
But Butch dominated the first chunk of the match.
yeah, a
Jay
lot of
got
joint
almost
manipulation. He was working on that hand, that broken handed.
Yeah, that's worked. Yeah, like I said, worked Jay's hand for the majority of the match. Rich Holland entered.
Yeah,
Next.
because the Brutes had the advantage, so it started off just 2-on-1 against the Usos, which felt kind of weird. But I think it should have been, if the Brutes had the advantage, I think it should have just been more even, kind of in the beginning before
I think
kind of runs down.
I think it worked better this way because it shows Butch as much more of a threat. It really shows what. God, I want him versus Gunther so bad.
I feel like we're gonna happen. Like, it's gonna boil down the pipeline eventually. I'm still waiting on Tyler Bate to come to the main roster. That's another story,
right? Jimmy was gonna enter next, but Roman, in the most badass way possible,
just since
literally grabs him, goes
points at Sammy and tells him
points at the ring. So Sammy enters next,
and Sammy is hesitant.
And Sammy is
he's walking down like the ramp, just kind of
like he's shocked he didn't know he was entering next.
But also Ridge and Butch are just standing there waiting on him to come in.
And then Sami Zayn was the difference maker at this point, because every time from here on out, Sammy joining Jay helps even the odds, helps the Bloodline get some sort of advantage. Jay fucks it up for him by refusing to work with Sammy and starts arguing with him. But Sammy saves, he pulls
him out from getting like smushed between like the cell and I think Ridge coming off the rope.
Yes, and so Sammy gets them the advantage back. Drew enters, and Sammy continues to be the difference maker.
I mean, Sammy's definitely playing like support role mage here. He's definitely coming to pull the team out of like any fire and flames that they may be stuck in.
Like, he even got them the advantage against Drew McIntyre. Like, when it was 3-on-2, Sammy still kept the advantage. Jimmy enters next, brings tables in.
Jimmy comes in, loads the entire ring just full of like tables. It was an everything must go from under the ring sale.
Yeah. And Jay continues to fight against Sammy. Like, even Jimmy got involved between them, but I popped so hard when he pushes Sammy and Sammy pushed back.
And then Jimmy's now trying to get in the middle of him and like trying to break it up.
Yep, that crowd lost their mind.
But then I think, does it happen when Sheamus comes in? Because then there's a moment where Jay's about to super kick, I think, Ridge or Butch, and they pull Sammy in the way instead. So Jay accidentally super kicks.
Yeah.
He accidentally super kicks Sammy, but just looks like he doesn't care.
Yeah, he just shrugs it off.
He just shrugs it off, and then Jimmy's like, "Hey," like Jimmy tries to grab him, like
what's
what's going
on?
Like you can't do that. And Jay's just like, "Don't grab me," let's go over here and like get these other
it's pretty
don't worry
obvious
about that.
Who the issue in the Bloodline is, and it's not Sami Zayn.
I mean, it is. Sammy shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have had his face there.
Yeah, listen,
he shouldn't have had his face.
but then Kevin Owens enters next.
Yeah,
Brings
and
chairs with him. He takes out the Usos pretty easily.
because then there's the stare down with Sammy.
Yes, Sammy and Kevin have a stare down that is interrupted by Ridge Holland. Now the Brutes are just getting a shit ton of offense in. And then next to enter is Solo Sikoa.
Street champion.
Yes. Him and Owens have... Oh, yeah, he takes out the entire...
No, we didn't even mention when Sammy gets in and, I think he drops Ridge in the middle of the way and does, like, the little running man.
Yeah, the
like,
stall. Yeah. I don't know how I forgot to mark that. But when Solo comes in, he takes out McIntyre. He takes out Holland. He takes out Butch easily. And then him and Owens have this stare down, and they start fighting between the rings, which I always love a good between the ring fighting.
Solo's just winning back. He's Solo's getting hyped each time he's getting knocked back.
Yeah. Let's see, what do I have? Brawling Sheamus enters, gives the Bruce the advantage once again. They pin the Usos and Sammy against the cage and just start beating on them on the cage.
And then
great back and forth between Solo and Sheamus, and then Solo gets hit with that middle rope white noise. I was like, that's...
There was a lot between both matches. There was a lot of cage throwing, like a lot of people getting thrown like into the Dakota Kai got chucked into between the cage many times.
To be fair, can we talk about moving back to the women's match? Dakota Kai was the in ring the smoothest one in that match. She was the best one in that match in ring. Like, everything she did looks so good.
I was gonna say either her or Bianca, even given that they started the match.
Like Bianca, like, her stuff was good, but like you could tell it was a bit slower maybe than Dakota's. Yeah. Like, Dakota was moving quick and like smooth.
I also feel like that's diversifying the style. They have slight different styles too.
Yes.
Like Bianca's more power based.
But now moving back, the tribal chief finally enters the fray.
Which is, I feel like, the only reason that Butch and them got the advantage is so Roman didn't enter. So
Roman doing his slow entrance and
I'm still surprised he actually sat in the cage.
Yeah.
I'm very much.
He looked like a mob boss because he's literally sitting.
Yeah, he brought the only chair, so everybody now has to stand around him just sitting in the chair.
So the big thing I noticed whenever he walks in, he helps Jay up. He doesn't help anyone else up. He walks over to Jay, holds his hand out, helps him up. They do like a little
chest pat. Because I think at this point, because I think what Roman said is going to have so much weight in the future. What Roman told Sammy in the locker room, he was just like, "You said that was your friend. That was like that
was your brother."
Yeah, like Roman. Like, I think that Roman was essentially like testing him.
He's like, if he could do that to this guy,
if he can do,
brother, what's
gonna stop you from turning? Essentially, that's gonna be the whole antithesis of it, and that's gonna be the reason Roman kicks Sammy out.
Yes. What else do we have? When they're all standing up, Jimmy can barely stand. Like, the dude is falling over constantly.
I mean, I think he had been in that. I think Graves said on Raw, like, Jay was in that match for like 38 minutes.
It was Jimmy that couldn't stand.
It was Jimmy that couldn't stand?
Yeah, he was being held up by Sammy.
Oh, yeah, he was standing by.
Yeah, because
because
Sammy was on the right hand side of Roman, and then Jay was on the left hand, and then Solo was next to Jay, and which was interesting. It's kind of interesting that it was Solo next to Jay and not Jimmy,
but that was purposeful. Like, they each went to help up
their boy, the one that's. I think that maybe that's that's how I thought the split might have been, was Jimmy would not be for turning on Sammy because they're boys.
I mean, they have the handshake.
Yeah. But they do the big 5-on-5 team like standoff, and they start fighting in the in between the rings. Which ever since the Undisputed Era did it, everybody fucking does it now.
It's the War Game spot.
It's the War Game spot. Blood and Guts even did it. It's the War Game spot, which I love it.
big team standing off, and then everybody goes through a table again.
Yes. Well, they do the beats of the Beldron.
The 50 beats of the
yeah, on every single member of the bloodline.
Also, they didn't reference it, but KO finished his with a bionic elbow.
He did. Well, he was dressed in full Dusty attire.
Yeah, he wound up taking the elbow pad off like halfway through the match too.
Yeah, but
it's just a common man.
Yeah, he also. I'm trying to think of what I was gonna say. Words are hard today, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm at. What's Roman started laying out everybody with that.
Oh yeah, just that right hand, that open
fucking slap spot. Apparently Roman was pissed, and they're cool now.
Oh yeah,
Triple H put his foot down, and said, "You work it out," and they did. They talked it out.
Well,
but be amazing it looked like a planned spot because Roman fucking hit him back. It was like it led to a brawl between the two of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
I think maybe he just did it a little harder.
I was gonna say as far as like unplanned spot, yeah, it just might have been like
maybe a little too stiff. But
actually, I think the only unplanned it might have been no, I was gonna say or during like the beats of the bell run because I forgot. I think like Kevin Owens runs over and gets like 2 more in on like I think like on somebody. Like there's somebody who hasn't fallen off the rope yet. And Kevin Owens comes over and gets like 2 more off. I think it's either one of the Usos or Roman.
I love that. But yeah, he slapped the taste out of Roman's mouth. Like it was a really good spot. So this leads to Jay super kicking Sammy on accident. I put
and not caring at all.
Yes. Usos hit Butch with the 1D off the top rope. That was pretty sick. And Roman who did he spear through the table?
He speared Drew, I think. No, Ridge.
Ridge. Okay, I don't know why it says speared Sammy. Let's see. Spinning solo through the table as well.
That was the Drew.
The Roman and Owens standoff, which was where the slap was, made me realize Owens being the one to beat Roman for the title would also be incredible.
I mean, it would be a complete circle for him, especially through like Thunderdome era. Like,
yeah,
he was supposed to be the one to stop the reign before it even began.
Yes. There's so many people that could take the belt off Roman and it'd be great.
And I think that's what makes Mania. I think literally
that's what makes the Rumble such a good pay-per-view this year.
But I think in people declaring for the Rumble, you have that spot on like a SmackDown or a Raw where you just have Drew come out, Cody come out, Seth come out, Kevin.
I don't think Cody should. I think Cody should be a surprise entrant.
I feel like you just. I feel like you could.
People get
no. Could you bring Cody back? Because you're gonna have The Rock
as
a surprise.
But he shouldn't win. I don't think Rock should win the Rumble.
I mean, if he does, then it would make more sense for the Money in the Bank to be night 1 and get cashed in on night 2. Just like, oh, you think because you built The Rock, you're done? You think
no.
No, me and you tomorrow.
So, let's see. Sammy stopped the ref from counting the 3 after Owens hit the stunner.
And I like how anytime Sammy's trying to interfere with Kevin, he doesn't hit Kevin. He doesn't hit Kevin. He slides in, literally
catches his hand, which was such a good spot. But then we move on. Like they have their showdown. You could tell like Sammy's conflicted. He catches the super kick from Jimmy, I think, and he low blows it. I'm gonna go kill a child for being loud. Hits him with the low blow. He goes into the corner. Sammy's very clearly conflicted. Fucking haluva kick, and it was a stiff haluva.
And
kick.
they redo
He catches him, and it was beautiful.
It's like from their Battlegrounds match and their NXT match. Like it's the spot that they do now where. Yes. Instead of like Battlegrounds throwing him back into the corner and hitting another haluva kick,
he lays him down and said
and lets Jay
sacrifice for Jay.
And just like he's all yours. And I love how Jay looks at Kevin, looks back at Sammy, looks back at Kevin, and as he's climbing the rope, he's talking so much, he's like, oh yeah. I'm about to stamp. he's looking down at Kevin, talking so much stuff.
Sammy, so
big Uso splash.
The Bloodline win. Sammy and Roman have that moment hugging each other.
Yeah,
and it's like okay, that.
That.
Yeah. And then Jay.
No, Sammy extends a hand. Sammy at first extends a hand to Jay, trying to be like, "Hey, we're cool now."
He like does a slap his hand away into the hug
and embraces him.
and Sammy gets so much more hyped, and they're
Sam,
like,
and the thing is too, because at the end of this, Sammy is looking kind of devastated. Sammy has been looking like emotional through a lot of this.
yeah,
so
he put on such a like he was the star of that match.
yeah, definitely carried a lot of like the story weight.
Yes,
like through it. So in seeing that, it's like, and then him finally to get embraced and all of his emotions kind of like turn around because then he hugs Jay. Him and Jay hug. It's the big embrace. He does him and Jimmy embrace and do
the fat and
yeah. So he's like hyping up with everybody.
What was Solo doing there? Was he
Solo doing exactly what he was doing on Monday Night Raw, just standing there looking like, why are these three buffoons trying to get me to?
He almost broke. He almost did the hug on Monday.
You could tell when any wrestler about to break because they start to move their jaw out more. They're just like, oh.
Well, he turns to them while they're all like,
yeah,
Jay's in the squat.
Yeah, Jay's like, come on.
Yes, but Sammy, my last note, Sami Zayn is honorary no longer.
Sammy, yeah, because even Jay said like, yo, you got a problem with Sammy Uso, you got a problem with me.
Yes, so that which makes me think when they turn, Jay's not going to be cool with it. All right, but overall, great pay-per-view. I think I gave that 4.5 too.
I gave it a 4.
You gave it a 4. That's fair. It was great storytelling, great
story, but then also this picture. The picture
Yes.
that's with it is Roman just staring at Sammy, and I think, and I'm telling you that even feeds more into what Roman said is going to be the reason Roman's going to tell Solo to do it.
Yes, well, because look, he's not.
He's not looking at any. So, like everybody,
he's not doing the one.
Yeah, he's not doing the one.
But look, Roman's like looking at Solo in that picture.
Roman's not looking at. He's looking at Sammy.
but but look at Jay. Even Jay looks pissed off looking at Sammy. Like, my dude, you guys are good now. You don't have to act angry now.
But I like how Solo's just arms crossed. Just
oh, absolutely. It was a
street.
Oh my god. There we go. But we'll move on to the second part of the pod tonight or today, which is because we're only at we're at 46 minutes. We can do a quick rundown of what we would do as an evolution to figure five matches.
Yeah.
So, opening match. I would do. I said it before because we never got it in a one-on-one match. We only got the tag match. I would do Bliss versus Trish.
Opening match, 10-woman battle royale, all NXT versus all legends.
That'd be interesting.
I'd bring like Molly Holly, Layla,
AJ Lee.
Melina.
No,
like,
if you bring AJ back, it better be a singles match.
Melina, like Michelle McCool, like it's gonna be a few of the legends, like Beth, like it's gonna be a battle royale.
Well, you can't do Beth because she's in a match later.
Like, are we building like separate? Like, because I got her in a battle royal.
Really?
Yeah.
I have her versus Rhea Ripley in the second match.
That would be like Rhea.
Her versus Ripley would be.
Rhea would also be in the battle royal. Not even because like it'd be a lot of old guard versus new guard.
Disrespect.
I mean, it's not disrespect. I mean, the stars that are in that battle royale.
So
I could sell a pay-per-view in itself.
You know what? Who's the Raw Tag Team Champion or not the Raw? Who's the women's tag champs right now?
Dakota Kai and Io Sky.
Dakota Io. I don't know who I'd put them against women. Lay Cool.
Lay Cool would be.
I put them against Lay Cool. So that's match number 3. I think I'm gonna go 6-match card for mine.
I'd go with 5.
What's your match number 2?
My second match would be second match.
You mentioned Victoria.
Yeah, I was gonna say Victoria versus Raquel Gonzalez.
Okay,
Rodriguez, but
yeah,
double R.
Yeah,
because I feel like both of them I feel like they both have similar styles, and I feel like the power dynamic in that
it'd be very interesting.
It's very interesting and very fun.
So yeah, I think match number 3 I'd probably do for the tag titles, Lay Cool versus Damage Control. I think that'd be a very good match. If it's kind of hard because I'm like I want to book the 4 horsewomen, but I think we're both kind of doing the old school versus new school idea.
Yeah, because if we're talking a tag match, And like Evolution 2, like if we're just pulling, she's technically former WWE. Like if we're going tag match, I'm going AJ Lee and Gail Kim versus Sasha and Bailey.
So I have a hot take. AJ Lee in a match versus Cora Jade, because that's like Cora Jade. That's like Cora Jade's hero.
I mean, it is. I don't think she gets that match though.
You don't think Cora Jade gets that match? I think Triple H seems like he's pretty high on Cora Jade.
I mean, I know. I don't think. I just don't think she gets that match. I think there is.
I think if AJ does, she gets a singles match. I feel like she was the
yeah, but the
reason
also,
for the women's revolution.
but she also hasn't wrestled in a while.
I'm okay with that. You know why? Because she's still in great shape. She posts.
I mean,
on
she's
Instagram.
she's still in great shape, but there's great shape, and then there's being back in the ring.
You know, listen, you give her like 3 months to get in ring shape. I think she can do it. I think she could put on banger still.
So that was, yeah. So that
you know
was our
what?
third match.
No, not her versus Cora Jade. Her versus Sasha Banks.
That not now you're talking MSG.
Yeah. What Evolution 2 in Madison Square Garden would be great because I love how Madison Square Garden shows look.
Honestly, weirdly enough, where did they do the Raw 25th or 100th?
They did it in. I know what.
That ballroom. Weirdly, I
would.
like the way it.
Yes,
I think it would be a great.
It wasn't Hammerstein, was it?
I wanted to say
ECW.
Yeah, Hammerstein's ECW.
It's somewhere in
I wanted
Manhattan.
to say, yeah, Manhattan Center.
That might be it. That would be a great.
So for a match 4,
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think is match 4. Or I guess for me it'd be match 5. So if I'm doing Sasha AJ, it's a tough one. Bailey Lita would probably be my next match because I think
Bailey Lita would be good.
It would be really good. It's such a tough one.
It really
Realistically,
is.
tag wise, I'd probably do Charlotte and Becky versus Trish and Lita instead of Bliss versus Trish. Charlotte and Becky versus Trish and Lita. I don't think it's happened. I think they did Trish and Lita versus Alexa and Mickey. But I don't think that we got Charlotte and Becky versus Trish and Lita. But that would be a really good match.
Yeah, I don't know. Ooh, actually, speaking of that, what would this be my match?
For it doesn't matter. We're just throwing out matches
Yeah.
that would be good for it for another 8 minutes.
If you want to, if you want to, like Mickey James versus Alexa Bliss, I think that's where the money match is.
We've had that a ton.
Did we have that a ton?
Dude, they feuded.
Oh yeah, right. Because
Biscuit
Mickey James
butt.
had a comeback. Yeah, Mickey James had that comeback.
Yeah. That was when Vitch tried to get Biscuit Butt over as a thing for Alexa Bliss because of Mickey James. Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. If we're doing old school versus new school, I'm trying to think of like,
Or even a mix of them.
yeah, because I'm trying to think of like what are some great.
Even Bianca Belair versus Beth Phoenix. I'd like that match.
That'd be good.
That'd be-
I'm trying to think of like women that would just Awesome Kong versus Bianca. I think would be a good match. Both just two powerhouses.
Ooh. Actually, give me Jazz versus Sasha.
Can Jazz still go? Like I don't know. I think she still wrestles, but I don't know.
No. She retired. She
Oh,
retired.
she did finally retire.
Yeah, she retired in TNA. I think she just mainly does like manager stuff now.
Okay.
But like a prime Jazz.
You know what? I'm gonna change. I'm gonna throw the tag match out the window
Mhm.
because I'm gonna make it a multi-team match. You got Trish and Lita, Lay Cool, Charlotte and Becky, and the team Fly Kicks. Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox.
Oh wow, that's disrespect to the Bellas. Like,
Well, here's why I say it. One, I fucking hate Brie Bella as a wrestler. Nikki improved a ton. Brie, in my opinion, really didn't. Let's be honest. She wasn't that great in the ring.
I don't think she was. I don't think
Her
she was
entrance
bad.
music was terrible too.
Entrance music, entrance music worst of all time. But I don't.
But I would put her in the category like the reason I say these 4 teams best friends in real life, all of them. Bitter enemies on screen as well at one point. And the Bellas, they had a very short rivalry.
I don't think it was very.
It was pretty short. They got back together pretty quickly.
I don't think they got back together. Not after like, cause then Nikki started like dating like John. I think that was when like the whole big split happened, and Nikki was mainly on Raw, and like Brie was on SmackDown.
So they got back together surprisingly quick.
Well, I mean, they are sisters though too.
Yeah,
so.
well, that's my point. They didn't have like a long feud like we've seen with Dakota and Tegan. We've seen with Charlotte and Becky. We've seen with Trish and Lita. We've seen with even Michelle McCool and Layla. After they split, they had a pretty lengthy feud until Layla retired.
Not until like they retired. Like after like they split, like it was pretty like Layla fell like pretty hard off the card, and like it was.
Yeah, well, I meant like they didn't get back together, kind of deal. They didn't.
I mean, they didn't, but
because Layla retired. No, sorry, Michelle retired shortly after that, and then Layla kind of faded into obscurity, which was a shame. But Lay Cool was like the prototype first women's tag team.
Yeah,
that's why I include the big reason why I include them in that. But yeah, the Bellas overrated. They brought a lot of female eyes to WWE though, and I will always give them credit for that.
They're overrated. I think they're properly rated as far as.
I think Nikki towards the end of her run, I'd even go so far as to say she was great in the ring. She got really good.
She got a lot better.
That match with Carmella, dude, her feud with Carmella was great.
She got a lot better.
She put on great matches with Charlotte. She put on great matches with Paige, with AJ. Granted, AJ Lee could put on a great match with a fucking paper bag.
She went from being like a 1.5 in the ring to like a 3. That is like
3 is above average.
Are we going on the 5 scale here?
I was going on.
We
do the star rating.
3 is average.
On a 5-star?
Yeah.
2.5 is average on a 5-star.
Are we 2.5 is just kind
of 2.5 is literally average. It is halfway through a 5 rating.
2 is just like 2.5 is just like it has room to be like a little bit better, but I didn't.
Fine. AJ Lee and Caitlyn.
AJ Lee and Kate.
Instead of Lay Cool.
I mean, AJ Lee. I remember when
they were both.
I remember when
really good.
Big E was supposed to be the secret admirer. And it just comes out. Oh,
you know what? Nobody sold a spear. Nobody has sold a spear as well as AJ Lee. Dolph comes close, but
I think Dolph's like
AJ folds herself in like.
I think so does Dolph. Like Dolph,
he takes him really well. He doesn't like. It's because he physically can't do this. Here, I'm gonna pull it up. Okay, chill.
Don't need that amount of copyright.
Look at that. See, literally, she holds her body every time she gets hit. Speaking of AJ Lee, she was a part of the greatest cash-in of all time. Like, this is why AJ has neck problems. Because she took too many Caitlyn spears. God, I miss AJ, man. She was the one that like got me into women's wrestling. Because, you know, like, for the longest time, they were treated like a joke. But, yeah. They spelled Brian just completely wrong. Like, all of her... every spear she takes, she just looks like she got hit by a shotgun.
Yeah, she rolls real hard onto the back of her shoulders.
Yes. Jesus. Anyway, I don't even remember what.
I like how this is just a compilation of times Caitlyn spear
because she took it so well. But I say we move. Or
Big E links.
We're gonna wrap up the pod for the week. Thank you everybody for watching. Tune in next week for the Orange Cassidy episode.
The Orange Cassidy episode. Do leave us some comments down below. Any questions you want us to ask Orange Cassidy. But then also be on the lookout for our road to WrestleMania as we are continuing on to end season 1 of our universe mode. And be on the lookout for predictions coming in January for the Royal Rumble or AEW Do they have any?
Not till. I mean, they
No,
got
they just have the
winter is coming, but that's
a
not.
TV
We don't
special.
do predictions on TV specials, which is why we're not doing Deadline because
Deadline is a TV special.
It's a TV special. It's on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
But we will be doing gaming challenges probably starting next week.
To kick those back up.
It'll be a bit of a longer recording session on Friday, I imagine.
And then we'll have the next pod out too as well. So don't forget, in the description, that's all our socials down there. So don't forget to follow Top Rope on Instagram, Twitter, like us on Facebook, hit that notification bell so that way you can get notified anytime we drop a
Universe
video.
We'll see you soon.